I was looking over some of my videos that I posted. I believe there are two. The third one I'm posting now. And although they are, completely filled with good information, I was kind of watching them and I really felt like more like I was teaching versus um, sharing or touching the you on the other side as viewers. And, I have a lot of information that I've learned about breastfeeding through both experience and in, book knowledge, I guess you could say. And we all know that, we read things and we hear things from people, and um, they're all good, and we might agree or disagree, but then we have that baby in our arms, and it almost seems like everything changes. Because now we're a nervous mom and we want to do everything right and we don't want to make any mistakes. And we will make mistakes. We're imperfect and we'll learn along the way. And there are times where something, you're faced with something that will seem like this big, huge ordeal. And then you look back on it later and think, man, that was nothing compared to what I'm dealing with now. And since having 4 kids, I kind of learned that over time, you're going to go through so many different things that we don't really want breastfeeding to be something that a mom has to look back on and say, oh my goodness, this was so difficult, or I wish that I had been more successful, or I'm embarrassed because I didn't do, what I wanted to do, what my plans were because of life, and life has a way of changing everything. So I was watching the videos, and like I said, I felt like I was more like, not really myself, more just like a teacher teaching students in a classroom, and I don't really want to be that way. I want to kind of relate to you, um, woman to woman, mom to mom, and kind of go from there as to like different topics. And there's a lot of things that I can share and help you um, with your breastfeeding experience. And I want it to be, something that you look back on and you are so glad, you're so proud of yourself, and just happy that you had whatever time it was. And I used to say in classes that I teach, whether you do it for one day or you do it for 2 years, to me, you're still a mom to be proud because you breastfed no matter what happened, no matter what challenges, and no matter how long you did it for. But again, I'm also not going to say that a mom is not successful that doesn't breastfeed. A mom can be successful no matter what. And really, we're a mom forever, so we're always learning. And yeah, there are times I'll sit down and think, oh, I wish I could do some things different. But we can't really do that. We can only go, forward with what we know now. So I thought I would just kind of change my videos a little bit, and I kind of want to go back and delete the videos because it's kind of embarrassing when I listen to myself. I wish I could like start over, but I feel like there's good information in those videos, so I really don't want to delete them per se, but I think I'll kind of change things up a little bit. I guess, it was new for me to start. I didn't really know how to reach out to ones, and I noticed that the breastfeeding introduction has more viewers versus the others. I think my introduction has like over 300 views, whereas my second video, I believe, only has 30. So I need to see the differences between that one and the other one. Maybe I was a little more, relatable. I'm not sure what the difference is, but I do want to kind of reach out to moms now and be a little bit different in my approach, because I think that will be more relatable. And nobody wants to sit and listen to somebody just talk, because we want someone who has had the experience and who can relate to us emotionally as well as what we're going through practically. And that's what I think where I want to be a little bit different. I think I want to be a little more on the emotional side, reaching you on the emotional side versus just teaching in a class, because you can get that anywhere. So anyway, so those, I kind of just wanted to kind of apologize a little bit if I don't know, I'm just kind of embarrassed of those first couple of ones when I look at, the way I present it. So I kind of want to change that now. So now I think I'm just going to pick topics and entitle the videos those topics. And I will use my own personal experience or like my own, what happened with me as a mom, breastfeeding, not breastfeeding, so forth. And also some of the moms that I came across that I felt were really empowered and they can empower other people, so other moms. So I kind of thought that's how I'm going to start my videos from now on. I'm going to change a little bit and see if that helps not only you but me. Like when I look back at them, do I feel like they were more personal, and that's what I want to reach for. So just kind of, so I thought I would start with my first son. He was born early. He was about 6 to 8 weeks early. It just depends on, my calculation, the doctor's calculation. But he was able to come home. He was born at 34 weeks. And he was, had a low weight, but he was okay to come home. And he breastfed well. So they let me take him home. Of course, we struggled in the first few days. He was losing weight when I took him home, and then it makes the doctors get really nervous, and they want you to start, either feeding more or some. If you don't have a doctor who necessarily is going to support you breastfeeding, they may say, okay, I want you to give him formula for a couple days because we want to see him or her gain weight more. So, however approach you take it, that's for your, you and between you and your doctor and the baby and your decision on that. But in my case, the reason that he lost weight, and most babies do tend to lose weight when they go home, maybe after the first few days, but then they'll pick up as we go along. And it was because, I go home and everything was great in the hospital. I had people there, and my breasts were not yet as full as they will get when the milk increases. You do have milk there, but it's just not, because the baby and you are learning, it's just your colostrum, and that's kind of like thick like honey. So when the baby eats, they don't eat very much, and you may not really feel it in your breast or see it. But then your milk increases by day like 3. For some women, like if you have a C-section, it can go to like day 5 almost. But if you get to day 7 and you feel like your breasts haven't changed, it will be good to call any lactation support that you have to see what could be the problem, and just to kind of find out if there's a problem. Anyway, so during that first few days, you're feeding. You should be feeding a lot at the hospital, and then you go home and you're still feeding, but then your milk increases, and then your breasts are very full, and that's when a lot of latching problems will start. A lot of moms will say, they were breastfeeding really well at the hospital, and then we got home and they don't breastfeed as well. Now I'm having trouble latching them. A lot of that is just because the breast is so full that they can no longer grab hold of the breast, and they have to be able to get as much of that dark circle around your nipple in their mouth to be able to latch correctly and then to draw that milk out. And when your breast is so full, it can almost flatten your nipples. But it's also, even if it doesn't flatten your nipples, it's hard for that baby to get a hold of the breast. So you have to soften the breast first. And this is where the struggle is, especially when you're a new mom and you have to learn that. But every child you have, you kind of feel like you're starting all over. So basically, just kind of some tips on that day when your breasts get really full. Try learning hand expression. Try watching some videos of how to do that. And then if you do have a pump or whatever, you can use that. Although they recommend hand expression because a pump can sometimes make it swell more. For me, I just would take warm showers. You can lay warm cloths on the breast. You can even use cabbage leaves, but you want to be careful because you don't want to dry up your milk. You just want to lessen a little bit. For me, like I said, I took warm showers and used hand expression to get some of that milk out. All you need to do is soften the areola, the dark skin around the nipple. If you can soften that, then the baby can grab. You don't have to soften the whole breast. You don't have to get all the milk out. You just kind of want to soften the area where the baby can latch. So that is one of the biggest reasons why a baby might lose weight, because you're like all of a sudden having trouble latching. So I will try to come back with more tips on that. I don't want to make this a very long video, but just kind of knowing that a lot of times latching problems can start when you get home, and that's because your breasts are so full. So you want to look up how to soften those breasts so you can get the baby on. I hope that helps a little bit, and I hope to change my videos a little bit, and I hope that you'll like them a little bit better. So I will talk again to you all soon.